matters, where your money matters to us. I'm Tammy Freitas, host of the show, and we're going to have a great show today. My co-host is Skip Massengill, and he has a platform called Secure Us that is going to tell us how he can secure us with his platform. Good day, Skip. How are you doing?
Great, Tammy. Glad to be here.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So, Skip, can you tell us a little bit about your platform and how it helps secure people's money?
Yeah, I think in today's world, people are worried about their cash. We've seen some banks go under, and while it's not a pressing need right now, it could be. This platform basically combines about 3,000 different banks, where we, under a patented system that's been around for about 22 years, can actually distribute $249,000 per bank. That maintains FDIC insurance, which lets us sleep at night. In most cases, we're increasing the return because banks like to lend it much more than they like to pay for you on the rates.
Right. And so if I have an obscure regional bank, can I integrate with your platform?
Certainly. The main thing that we found is that CFOs, individuals, don't want to change their banking relationships, especially if their operating budget's connected to that. So even
Right.
the smallest bank that you have, we can bolt that on to our platform. We're basically, as long as you call me by 10:30 in the morning, we can have up over $200 million transferred back to your account. So it's a huge platform, and we integrate with all.
Wow. So it's not just for individuals, it's for corporations too.
Yeah, it's unless you have over $1 million, you're not going to really worry about the FDIC insurance as much. But
Right.
most of our clients are in the $5 to $100 million range.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. Well, as you know, my business is mergers and acquisitions, so you probably have some questions for me about what's going on in the market.
Well, yeah, but I think, is the show 5 hours? No.
Nope.
No. But I guess as we're winding down, in the last couple of weeks here, in the last quarter, in the M&A market, and as we close that out, what are you anticipating for the next quarter in 2026?
Well, I expect for business to be incredibly robust because not only do we have another interest rate cut, but so many businesses have seen that now is a good time to come to market. I'll give you an example. We are working with business owners that we value the company 6 months ago, and we think it's worth $12 million. And then we take it to the market and we get offers for 14, 16, 18, 20. So there's 4 trillion of capital in the hands of private equity and venture capital, and they are looking for companies that are growing, that have good EBITDA margins, and can continue to grow. So it's a wonderful time in the middle market, lower middle market, M&A market, and as you've seen, also huge mergers coming with Warner Brothers and two bidders, and it's an exciting time in M&A.
What would you tell the business owner out there listening in that they want to prepare, other than waiting the 3 months to put it back for the bid? But what are you going to anticipate to say to people that can really help their businesses as they approach maybe an exit?
Sure. The most important thing is to prepare your business so that you can actually take 3 weeks of vacation and not have to worry about it. So that means have a strong second tier behind you. Make sure you're putting processes that are in your head down on paper or down in the computer. Make sure you're delegating efficiently and effectively so that, again, you can go on a cruise and not have to worry about it, because that's what buyers care about, that the business isn't dependent on one person.
Sounds like one of my old mentors, Michael E. Gerber, who wrote the E-Myth 40-some years ago about systematizing, which now
Yes.
is a common word, but he created it. So I think that's what you're resonating out there, that you want to be able to do it. You do it once, you do it twice, and somebody else should be able to do it when you're not there. So
Correct.
that's got to maximize the return on the investments, and a lot of these VCs that are looking to shorten that window,
Yes.
a couple of years to maybe a year on the exit, which is somewhat unrealistic.
Right.
Anything else popping out there that people should be aware of?
Audited financials, quality of earnings report. The more you can prove that the numbers really are the numbers, the easier it is to get a proper valuation, and then to go to market and convince buyers that they really should pay up for the company.
Yeah. I'm doing some work because I'm talking to the CFOs of these companies in regard to cybersecurity and ransomware. Is that coming up in the discussions? Are people worried about their information getting hacked and the protection that that company's put in place before you're going to broker them?
It actually doesn't come up in the conversation with buyers as much as you would think. However, we have had some mandates for companies looking to buy companies in that space.
We should talk.
Okay. Well, we have a question from one of our audience members. Mark Cantor from Philadelphia says, "What are the best ways to borrow money today?" Skip, you want to take that?
I'll take that one. Sure. Normal answer would be, well, the bank. But in some cases, depending on what you're borrowing the money for, there may be other ways, and it depends on the size, and it depends on the scope, and it depends on the use of those funds. For instance, home equity mortgage, you know where to go. Go to the bank, go to the mortgage company, et cetera. For your business, they're going to look at everything that Tammy just said. They're going to look at all the different pieces. So if it's in a situation where you can take your money, even if you have a lot of cash, and you can leverage it, you're now leveraging your own money, which is why you want to borrow. And in this case, going out to different entities that have a lot of cash sitting, and with me, they're looking for other avenues to increase those returns. And I think that the first place to start is obviously with your bank, but if you can look into the other ways that are available to you through not the credit unions, but basically the lending system that we have in place now is all corporations basically have sideline cash. So depending on the question, if it's personal or for business, could give you some directions and be glad to follow up offline.
To that point, Skip, don't forget SBA-backed loans or asset-based lines against receivables, inventory, equipment, or even your investment portfolio that you're protecting.
Yep.
Well,
completely agree.
Sorry, Skip. I'd like to bring on our guest today. We have Adam Rosen, CEO of EOC Works. And Adam is a serial entrepreneur, and he's going to tell us how he helps entrepreneurs with EOC Works. Good afternoon, Adam. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tammy, Skip. Good to see you guys.
Great to see you too. So tell us about EOC.
Yeah, we do the sexiest job any company could do, which is email for a living. I know we all love emailing, and that's what we do all day, every day. So I've been emailing for a long time. My first tech startup was built on the back of cold email. It was how we raised money. It was how we found the company that bought my startup, and it was how we got the biggest brands in the world as customers. So I started email outreach company about 4.5 years ago, where we work with small startups and big Fortune 500s to get their sales teams on more sales appointments. And we do it through the power of email.
So everyone knows about email, but most emails, it seems like they go on read. How do you get them opened and read and responded to? What's your secret sauce?
You got to cut through the noise. And the reality is, Tammy, the unfortunate part, but also the fortunate part, is there is no one secret sauce. There is no one silver bullet that's going to take you from nobody responding to you to everybody wanting to meet with you. But the way to have email work, just like the way to have any marketing work, is you have to understand who your buyer is, what problems they are facing, how your solution ties into solving that problem. And then most importantly, how do you communicate that message effectively enough where this person says, you know what? I'm going to give Tammy 10 minutes of my time because I want to learn more about what she's working on.
Cool.
Got it. Do you find that it's a repetition piece that needs, like it's set up to continue to email me with the same type of information to solve a solution that you're hoping I have, or has there been research done ahead of time where you know a little bit about my solution or my problem that I need?
Yeah, the more you know about your buyer, the more effectively you're going to be able to position your message into something that's going to resonate with them and something that they're going to want to have a conversation about. So for example, like let's say you sell into financial offices within companies and there's a job opening for a new VP of finance. Maybe that indicates that this person would be a good buyer for your solution. So once they post that job opening, you want to make sure that they receive an email from you showcasing how maybe they should consider your solution versus making this hire, or how it might complement the hire they're making. So to your point, Skip, yes, the more you know about your buyer, the more effectively you can message to them so that it's more timely for them to take their time to speak with you. And the reality is, with any marketing, it is about repetition. So, the numbers always change, but they say 10, 12, 15 different touch points it takes for a person to buy. And there's no difference with email. Sometimes you get someone to respond after that first email and they want to meet with you. Other times it takes 7 months of consistent emailing until they say, you know what, I'm going to give this person some of my time and learn more about what they're offering.
And do you have particular industries that you focus in, or is it generalized?
We probably should get a little more niche to your point around acquisitions. Maybe it'd be helpful if we were a little more niched. We primarily work with B2B companies, but we work with anywhere from early stage startups that sell a tech platform to companies like the UFC that are selling advertising spots in the Octagon. And at this point, I feel like we've worked with any industry. We've even helped sell a faith-based movie into pastors and priests at churches. So we've done it all through email at this point.
And what was the most interesting client, in your opinion, that you've had?
Well, it's like your kids, right? Like, you love all your kids the same. So I think they're all interesting in their own way. But I do think, the UFC is a really fun one, just them being such a big brand and exciting brand to work with. But also that faith-based movie was a fun one. Like, it was starring Gloria Gaynor, anyone who knows the song, I Will Survive. And
I will survive. I will.
Yeah, exactly. So that was also a really fun, interesting one. But no, we love working with all of our customers, and they're all equally as interesting.
And how does AI play into what you're doing?
I mean, it plays a huge role into emailing and marketing, but also into just building your business in general. Like, the efficiency that you can create now, where you don't have to do the same monotonous work that you had to do back in the old days 2 years ago, is pretty remarkable. So me being a bootstrapped entrepreneur with a small team of about 20 employees, it's really important for us to find efficiencies. So on the business side, AI is incredibly powerful. But on the email side, with what we do, like, people always say to me, cold email is dead. It's dead. It's dead. And I actually agree with them in a lot of ways. I say, you're right. Cold email is dead if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do know what you're doing, I believe it is the golden age of email, because of some of the powerful technologies out there, where some of the tools we use, it feels like I just spent 2 hours researching this prospect and then wrote them a handcrafted note, when in reality, tens of thousands of prospects may have received that email where it took next to none of my time, but it feels like it was a handwritten note that I genuinely spent my time digging into this prospect on. So if you can learn these AI tools, it gives you a big lift in any business, mine being no exception.
Adam, are you using like a humanizer on your structure in the emails to humanize the message? I mean, more important when you're trying to use AI to write, obviously, but even with what's coming through in an email, are you crafting the email but then humanizing it to be undetectable, basically?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's if you go into the back end, there is pages and pages and pages worth of prompts, a lot of which is humanizing it, so it doesn't have the supercharged hashes that indicate, hey, this is probably a ChatGPT written email. Because yeah, the problem with AI is it's made things too easy in a lot of ways, and when that happens, a lot of times as humans, it makes it easy for us to just take a shortcut. So the fight now is, how do we not just rely too much on AI? Because if it's 100% AI, it's going to be a bunch of slop and it's not going to get results. So it needs that human component to it.
So what do most founders get wrong then about outbound sales and email campaigns?
I'm a believer. Like, when I talk to companies and founders and I ask, where do you get your customers from? If they tell me they only get them through referrals, I think that's a big problem. Or relationships they have, I think that's a big problem, because eventually your referrals will most likely run out, or there'll be good months and bad months. And when your relationships run out, what are you going to turn to? So every company needs to turn on an outbound engine. And I think a lot of companies, or a lot of people in general, they look at outbound sales differently than like an inbound lead that goes on your website. And for me, I never really understand that, Because if somebody takes a meeting from you from any type of outbound, and let's use email as an example, once they take the meeting with you, I view it as an inbound meeting. Like they're interested in meeting with you, just like if they stumbled on your website and decided to meet with you, they were an inbound lead. So I think a lot of people think selling to outbound is drastically different than selling to an inbound lead. I think it's no different. And I think anyone who's not getting customers from outbound is really going to have a tough time scaling.
Yeah. Adam, and with the onslaught of agents that are coming in AI, your email is sent. Somebody finally says, yes, I want more information. What's the response? Is it then become back to me as the individual, or is it coming into a repository of agents and then follow up? The reason I ask is the other day I got a phone call, and I was first minute or so, it was I'm looking for Skip, and I said it's me, and what regarding to, because I always say regard, and they said that this and this and this, and I said, oh, that's interesting, and he said we'd like to help you with this, this, and this. I'm like, okay. I said, excuse me, are you an agent? I said, well, I am AI. I was like, okay, I want to know who your boss is because this is so good. But I digress. But what's the flow back once you sent out the 10 or 5 emails to grab the interest? What's the next step?
We're about 90% there to it being fully AI automated in terms of replies. So for the first 4 years of building the business, we had humans that were on the other end responding to every single email, whether they said, I'm not interested, can you meet tomorrow at 2 p.m., or can you send me more information? We had a trained team that would do all this. We still have that trained team, but what their main focus is now is training our AI agents so we can handle those replies. And the reason why that's so important is, number one, the quality of those replies doesn't drop. But number two, and more importantly even, is the speed to reply is so important. When it's a human responding, maybe they'll see the email and they'll get back in 5 minutes, or maybe they're working on other stuff and they can't get back for 2 hours. One of the most important KPIs from us from the start was how quickly does it take when somebody responds to us for my team to book the meeting for our customer? Because as you guys know, speed kills all deals. Same with the meeting. So the AI agents now were able to respond in 5 minutes or less with a very high quality response to book the meeting. And nobody ever knows they're communicating with AI. They think they're communicating with my customer the whole time.
So is your solution cost effective for small businesses as well as large businesses? Does the pricing scale? Tell us about the pricing model.
Yeah, we have offerings for early stage startups. Like we work with some companies that are sub 10 employees, bootstrapped. So we have pricing that scales, whether you're a small startup or you're a big Fortune 500.
Cool. And when you look forward to the next couple years, are you planning on growing organically, or do you think you'll make acquisitions, or what does that look like for you?
Potentially acquisitions. I personally love being a bootstrap business right now, so I don't see ourselves raising capital unless it's absolutely required. My first business, we raised capital and we were blessed with having amazing investors. But the beauty of being bootstrapped, for anyone listening that is bootstrapped, there's a lot of fun and freedom in it. So I could see us making some acquisitions in the space. I could see us doing some partnerships with other companies that complement the work we do. But I love being bootstrapped and I want to continue growing that way.
Excellent. What's the storm that's coming that maybe you've thought of or you're preparing for with regard to, if this happens, then we need to redirect our direction?
The storm has been coming for the past 2 years. I'd say a little bit over 2 years. September of 2023 was when that first major hurricane, I'll call it, happened. There was a massive acquisition in the email space where Google Domains was acquired by Squarespace. And that was the first domino to fall that has shaken up the industry. And the reality is, and this is the same for a lot of businesses, like we are not playing in our own home. And what I mean by that is we are reliant on other companies that are making the rules. Those companies being companies like Google or Microsoft or Zoho or Yahoo. We're playing in their email world and they change the game, and they're constantly changing the game. Every month it feels like they make another major switch, which one, yes, of course, that's a headache for us. But two, it actually makes us more valuable because we are in this stuff all day, every day, in the weeds of it. Nobody else is, unless it's your full-time business. So what we know is happening in the email world, most companies don't find out about for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And by the time that happens, they're so far behind. So there's going to continue to be more and more storms that come up. But we know we're going to be the first to find out about them so that we can pivot accordingly.
So how big is EOC Works today from a headcount standpoint? I know you said you're bootstrapped, but.
Yeah, we have about 20 employees right now, including my co-founder and myself.
Cool. And you're based in Philadelphia?
No, I'm actually in Oahu, Hawaii right now. So I've been here as my home base for a little while now. But since the start of the company, my co-founder and I, we've run this as a remote business. So he's been traveling the world. I spent a while traveling the world. And then our employees are all remote.
Oh, wow. Totally cool. So you a surfer?
Yeah, I always tell people I like a big board and a small wave. So I wouldn't consider myself a big surfer, but I like to get out in the ocean and get a different view of the sunset.
So Adam,
so how can other people, sorry, Skip, how can other people develop a business where they could live wherever they want and grow it to 20 employees?
Well, one, it does take discipline, because when you are traveling, especially when you're going to some desirable places, there's a lot of temptation to say, you know what, I'm going to put off the work now and I'm going to go in the ocean and go surfing, or I'm going to go check out this really cool spot, which you can do, but the work needs to come first. And the way I've always looked at it is I don't want to just travel. I want to travel while building a successful business. If I'm just traveling without a successful business, it wouldn't be fulfilling to me. So it takes discipline. It takes, what you mentioned earlier, Tammy, is it does take a lot of systems. You have to build strong systems. You have to be able to hold your team accountable because you're not sitting right next to them. So you have to create strong systems that they can follow. And then it takes having a business that people want. If you're struggling, if people don't want your offering, you're going to run out of cash, and it's going to be really tough to go to Positano or Hawaii or the south of France if you're not making any money. So you got to have a business that is strong and healthy.
So Adam, with regard to how you're different than others, and we're all different, but if you could sum it up as far as if I wanted to go out to CFOs in healthcare, am I providing the list? Are you providing the list? And how's the email system set up? And can it be that myopic?
Yeah, most customers just rely on us for the list. We do have some that have high quality lists they'll hand to us, but for the most part, we're doing everything from building the infrastructure to the list, to the copy, to the sending, to the back and forth, to the CRM integrations, to building out newsletters. So we become a full cycle, I should say, email marketing solution for these companies.
And is it cost based on the amount of emails, 1,000 leads, and then we send 4 emails a month, or what's the cost structure when you get that defined?
Yeah, a lot of it is around volume, to your point.
Okay. All right.
Well, it just seems like you have done a fantastic job building a very sticky business. I know I want to send you an email and ask you, how can you help me in my business? Because I do a lot of emailing, and I'm sure I'm nowhere near as effective as you are and your firm is. So I'm sure our audience has found this really interesting. Skip, wouldn't you agree?
I definitely. I mean, we sit here, and the amount of spam calls and emails that I get, if you can get through those, I'm on board.
Yep. Yep. Well, we have a next show. We have Ken Milner, Esquire, who's going to tell us about franchise law, which I certainly want to hear about because I am working with some franchisees and franchisors. And I periodically get people asking me, how do I set up a franchise? Should I set up a franchise? So he's with Warren McGraw and Knowles, and that's our next week guest. Skip, what else should we tell our audience before we wrap up?
Well, I want to thank Adam today for the call. I mean, I really think, taking time from Oahu. When I was born, I lived there from 3 to 8, and I haven't been back, but maybe you've inspired me to do that. But really love what you've built. And to Tammy's point, I would love to talk to you about how we can grow our $700 billion offering already in cash even higher through your email system.
Okay, you're making me jealous, Skip. I'm nowhere near 700 billion. I'm more
It's not
down
my
like
platform. I'm a tag along.
700,000.
I'm just a tag along. It's been 22 years. It's been there.
Well, why don't
So,
we?
Adam,
The three of us should do a big business meeting in Oahu. It'll be a very important business meeting. The three of us can get together. We'll get on a big surfboard on some small waves and have some fun.
Sounds like
Adam,
a deductible trip.
Adam, what didn't we ask you that we should have asked you for our audience? What didn't we ask?
Does cold email work? Yes.
How well does it work on a scale of 0 to 10?
If you know what you're doing, 9.5. I'll leave the 0.5 with some opportunity to grow. If you don't know what you're doing, it's a negative 10, and it's going to be a waste of time and money.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to introduce you to some of my clients. They need help with the cold emailing, just like I do. This was an exciting show. Skip, thank you so much for joining.
This has been great.
Adam, any parting last words?
Just thank you to you, Tammy, and thank you to you, Skip, and looking forward to staying in touch.
Thank you. And this has been Your Money Matters. This is Tammy Freitas and Skip Massengill, the host and hostess of the show. And we're here to answer your questions about money, finances, business development, business growth. And we hope you tune in next week.